Well, joining me today to talk about these issues from Athens, we have Vagelis Agapitos, an independent economist in Greece. In London, we have Martina Stevis, the London correspondent for the Greek newspaper Eleftherotypia. And economic analyst Max Keiser is with us from Paris. A warm welcome to all my guests. Martina, the Greek government is in a really difficult position, isn't it, between a rock and a hard place, and many people are blaming the Greek government for getting them into this mess in the first place.
Absolutely, the situation is really very difficult. It's not the fault of this government, it's the fault of several governments over several decades for really very bad governance of the country and fiscal intransparency. Unfortunately, it's now time to solve these problems, but the Greek population is going to have to bear the brunt of this.
Yeah, and the Greek population is putting a lot of pressure on the Greek government. This is what the Greek Prime Minister George Papandreou said. He said he remained committed to the drastic reforms needed to turn the country around. He said, true, the measures hurt, but think of what would have happened if we'd entered a state of bankruptcy. If the country had gone down, it wouldn't have hurt the rich. It would have primarily hurt the average Greek and the weak. Martina, is that what most people think?
To be honest, I think the current measures that are being proposed and are being implemented are hurting the average Greek and the working classes, so I'm not quite sure if that stands. The vast majority of the population that is middle class and working class, people who have to put food on the table every evening and have to pay the bills, are the people who are seeing tax hikes. They're going to see the quality of their lives decline over the next few months, and they are in deep insecurity about their future. Again, unfortunately, we are yet to see strong measures that will target the mega haves who have been tax evading for years.
Vagelis, what do you think? Is Greece now in a position where it is going to have to take this emergency rescue plan from the IMF?
Well, surely this has never been a question in people's minds. I mean, Greece does need outside help. Greece has unfortunately not invested the money wisely that it took from the European Union through subsidies, etc. over the years. And we've got a number of different governments from different sides of the political spectrum basically falling into the same traps. The truth of the matter is there's been overspending, there's been tax evasion, there's been corruption, and there's also, this is an opportunity to start a new era. I think we need to consider the fact that no reform passes without resistance. The resistance so far has been pretty timid. It may well be just the beginning, but 2 out of 3 Greeks support that, you know, we need to turn the page. We need to start.
Really? You think so? I mean, we've got a situation where 10,000 Greeks are marching on Parliament demanding an end to the cutbacks.
Well, 10,000 is not really a significant number if you see the the population. I mean, one would have thought 100,000 would have been more appropriate. That's the opinion of different people here. In fact, you know, you may well have a strike, but I don't think everybody who went on strike actually turned up on any walks.
Max, we have a situation here which seems to be going from bad to worse. I mean, stocks are down, the economy is predicted to contract, bond yields are up. Greece just seems to be getting deeper and deeper into trouble.
Yeah, well, the question for the Greek government is why no arrests of Goldman Sachs bankers? You know, in the Netherlands yesterday they talked about banning Goldman Sachs. In the United Kingdom they're talking about banning Goldman Sachs. In the United States, the SEC now is got a case pending for fraud against Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs is the one that got Greece to skirt the Maastricht Treaty to join the euro with accounting fraud. These debts were all created under fraudulent inducement, and the Greek people have no responsibility to pay them back whatsoever. And what we're seeing right now is a classic case of financial terrorism. The IMF is holding out a package of monetary relief, which they say, well, we have it here for the Greek people to take, while at the same time, the bankers and the hedge funds are attacking the Greek bond market, forcing the yields up to 8.5%.
I mean, when you talk about the bankers and the investors, what about the actions of the Greek governments, past Greek governments? And Martina was pointing out that there have been a series of bad decisions, there had been mismanagement, there had been misrepresentation about the financial status, and they didn't abide by EU rules.
Well, the people should be demanding for a referendum, like they did in Iceland, to see whether or not they want IMF in their country, or the people should be demanding a new election. The people should seek a regime change in Greece if the Greek government's in bed with Wall Street bankers. That's tyranny.
What about...
If I may interrupt.
Yes, come on in, Martina, what do you say?
I think it's fair to mention, I would be the last person to disagree with you about the detrimental role that Goldman Sachs and other banks have played, both in the Greek case and I'm sure in other cases across the EU and the rest of the world that are yet to be disclosed. However, let's remember that the deal negotiated by Goldman Sachs that you're referring to was 2.1 billion, and that's a very small part of the debt that's now amounting on Greek's shoulders. So it's not just Goldman Sachs that should be brought to justice. It's also officials, politicians, and business people, and all those who have contributed to this situation that's brought us in this terrible condition today. Moreover, there's something to be said about the fact that the Greek people have had time and time again the opportunity to go to the ballot box and vote in a different government, and they have opted to vote for the same political class, the same names, the same people, the same families over and over again. Now, civil society has to go in there and strongly help the Greeks change their system from within. I completely agree with you that there's a level of financial terrorism going on there, but everyone has to assume their responsibility, and it's not just the Greek people who have been duped over this. Everyone has has played a part in this. And
Vagelis, do you agree that no one has been held to account for the situation that the ordinary Greek people now find themselves in?
That's very true, and there's a lot of frustration among the average Greek who says, look, it's not my fault that we ended up doing this. The truth is we are paying years of mismanagement by many different governments, politicians, public sector employees, you name it. However, I think it's wrong to divert attention towards just Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs is not to blame for hospital mismanagement, is not to blame for doubling the public sector employment, it's not to blame for secret benefits paid to a myriad of public sector employees. The list can go on and on. The truth is we have much deeper problems who need reform. And I think one other thing that needs to be stressed is that the problem in Greece is not only the deficit. The problem is competitiveness. Greek products are not being really exported. Because of rising in domestic prices and domestic costs, and there's just not the quality and the price parity compared to other nations. As a result, Greek exports have gone down, and this is the core of the problem. We need to jumpstart this economy by not only spending less in the public sector, but also making sure investments are being put in productive areas of the economy.
Okay, so let's talk about...
Would you not agree on what Vagelis was saying about competitiveness, which is very true, and it has to do with growth as well. Would you not agree that plans to take money, suck money out of the economy are not going to help this via tax rises, etc.?
Well, you have effectively a cash outflow, which is a considerable single and maybe double figure percentage of GDP going to bond and debt servicing. However, this is like feeding the poor. You've got to help the poor basically cultivate things. You've got to help the poor stand on their own feet. The problem is much deeper than just addressing the debt issue. The problem is
what's your point, Matt?